Hello, everyone, and welcome into the hospitality room presented by Mascot Media. Bobby Swofford, Blair Cartwright with you, talking sports, food, and whatever else enters the realm of attention spans that we have. Mr. Swofford, how are you?
Good. I feel like this is, it ought to be Friday, and it's only Tuesday, so this has been already been a
Yeah.
wild week here at the AAA headquarters.
Oh, I can imagine. I thought about that the other day as I was driving home from umpiring in Branson over the weekend. It's playoff time. It is
Mhm.
here. It has
Yeah,
arrived. Hard to
yeah.
believe. Oh, and
56
let's.
football games this weekend. It's down from about 100 we average.
Yeah.
AAAscoreboard.com. You and I were just now talking about it before we started. We've already had 73 streams turned in. There's only 56 games, so you're going to have plenty of options whether you want the home or road broadcast this weekend. And of course, that doesn't even include the. I think there's 12 teams that get a bye in the first round
Yep.
throughout
Hmm.
various classifications. So the madness that is the football playoffs is here.
Yes, it is going to be. I have a hunch the playoffs this year are going to be unreal. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
regular
agree.
season's been great, but then you add the whole playoff element. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
I did a radio spot here in Little Rock a couple hours ago, and we were going down to who are the favorites or whatever, and I got to the 3A bracket, and this is the first time I can remember in at least a long time, maybe ever, that there's
Hmm.
not one team that says, okay, you can point to, okay, this has got to be your favorite in the 3A playoffs here in Arkansas because
Yeah.
it's just so balanced and like the usual suspects, if you will, the Boonevilles, the Prescott's, they all finished second in their conference. Mansfield beats Booneville. Bismarck upsets Prescott in the regular season, so they're the conference champion. I mean, I think there is a good 6 to 8 teams in that classification that could end up in Little Rock. I don't know if I've ever been able to say that before.
Yeah, it is going to be incredible. And again, AAAscoreboard.com is
Mm-hmm.
where you can see the streams. If they provide it, they have to agree to share and all
Yeah,
that. But if
yeah.
they have,
But I mean, again, there's
that's what
already
it'll
more than
be.
70 that have been provided, so there's going to be a bunch of
Yes,
games.
it is going to be fun. All right, well, let's get to our headlines, shall we? Our talking points. And that's not the right one. This is the right one. We'll talk basketball first. Basketball team, tough loss to Baylor. I mean,
Yeah.
Baylor's what? Number 6. They got whacked at Gonzaga before, so you knew they'd be fired
Mm-hmm.
up. 72-67. It's a work in progress, and yet some of the national
Yeah.
media are already writing off Cal and this team. And I don't quite get it. After two games, we've really had two games because you got to wipe
Yep.
away Kansas. And they're already saying, well, Calipari's up to the same old stuff. He hadn't changed.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
It's the Calipari fatigue. I mean, that's
Okay.
really all there is to it because you look at what they did against Kansas. Okay, you take that
Mm-hmm.
picture, and you take what they did against Baylor, and you have that picture. It's not the same team. They played
Yeah.
outstanding in this game. Yeah, they didn't shoot the ball very well in this game. Like so,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere honestly, there's going to be somewhere in the middle. Like John L. Davis is not going to miss wide open threes all season long.
No.
Uh, Boogie Fland has been playing very well, but DJ Wagner's been playing awful in the first two games. That's not going to continue to happen all season long. Big Z scores 2 points. Like
Mm-hmm.
more times than not, he's going to play better than just right now. I mean, Arkansas is 1-1. Sure, they lost the game, but they shot 25% from the 3 point line. Like they're going to be better than that. So it's to me, it's just the Calipari fatigue, and a lot of it is the Kentucky people have a big voice because they've been obviously relevant for so long. So they're obviously going to be
In
down
their
on their
minds.
former coach. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, and I got to thinking, okay, why are we bagging on Cal? His team's ranked at least. And they
Mm-hmm.
almost, they were in the game. It's not like they got
Yeah,
blown
it
out
was
by
tied
40.
10-1/2.
And yet, and I respect Tom Izzo immensely. I think he's a great coach. But Michigan State's not even ranked, and they're playing in this Champions Classic tonight. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
why?
Yeah, because Mateen Cleaves hit a really important shot like 15 or 20 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
I
why.
mean, he's a good coach, but his Michigan
Yeah.
State and all that, why are they still in the Champions
Mm-hmm.
Classic? Why do they get
It's just
love?
it's because it's all about it's anymore college basketball, especially, is about the coach, not about the team.
True.
Because that's the only recognizable piece from year to year that a university like Michigan State or Kansas or Arkansas is going to have.
Yeah, and I also think part of it, I think we're seeing it in football too, but we'll see it in basketball, is everyone's used to the same teams always being good, but in this day and age of the portal, the
Mm-hmm.
rosters change, and it as we've seen in football, it takes longer for teams to gel, just like it's going to take longer for this Arkansas team to gel because they were not together last year.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. People like to.
I mean,
I don't know. Overreaction is good, I guess. Right?
yeah, they do, but I mean, also look at the top 25. I mean, like Rutgers and Ole Miss is in the top 25.
Yeah.
Like those are not basketball schools, but like
Rutgers. Yes.
Rutgers had. Yeah, I can't remember. It might have been Barstool or one of them put like this graphic out about preseason favorites to win the national championship, or whatever. And they had an Arkansas guy front and center. There were two Rutgers players on the graphic.
Oh, the two freshmen.
Yeah, and so like
Yeah.
so you're right to further exactly what you're talking about. The whole you can't point to the same teams that you always do as the favorite is valid, but also you also look at St. John's and they're in the top 25 right now. Like
Yeah.
why? Because of their coach, not because of their roster.
True. And the whole objective is to improve each and
Correct.
go up.
I
And
like
not
Calipari's
start here.
response. I
Yeah.
liked his response. Hey, you need to play tough games. Like we could have scheduled a team that we're going to beat by 50, and all that tells you is we're better than this team by 50 points. But like he's
Yeah.
playing these meaningful games away from home, so you don't have the crowd involved into it. And those type of games get you ready for the postseason a whole lot more than if Arkansas would have played Mississippi Valley State last weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and they play Troy, who's picked to finish, I think, second in the Sun Belt tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, even they beat Lipscomb by 16 and they're expected to win their league. This team's
Yeah.
not gelling and they're still playing at a high level. And it's everybody's, I don't know, freaking out. So I
Speaking of
guess,
college basketball, before we wrap this one up,
yes,
calling the
please.
Central Arkansas men's opener tomorrow, ESPN
Oh,
Plus.
against who?
A school called Randall.
Randall. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the NCCAA, so the National Christian or Collegiate Christian Association, whatever.
Okay.
They're in Oklahoma.
Oh,
UCA opened it against BYU and Utah out of the Big 12, and now they're about to play Randall.
that is a tough opening two games
Yeah,
on
and
the
it
road,
looked like
no less. So
yes.
yes. So tune in, watch the Hogs, do the ESPN Plus. We can do multiple screens. Watch the Hogs.
Yeah.
Watch UCA.
you
So
go.
you can listen to Bobby. All right. Let's get to football. Wild weekend in the SEC. Let's start first. Oh, Lane Kiffin wins a big game at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But is
When do you
Georgia
have to? When do you
that
put
good?
respect on the name? When do you start putting respect on the Ole Miss name?
I don't know. But is Georgia really that good?
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Can we go complete chaos theory with it right here?
Please do.
So what happens when Georgia beats Tennessee this week, and then Texas A&M beats Texas the last game of the regular season, and you've got 4 or 5 teams from the SEC at 10-2? Because both of those things are possible, right? That I laid out.
Oh, totally. I mean,
And so you've got Texas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M, all at 10-2.
yeah, you've got Tennessee,
Chaos is coming.
yeah, A&M, Texas, all at one loss.
Yeah.
Georgia, Ole Miss, Bama, Missouri, LSU with 2 conference losses. Of course, I'm looking
A&M.
at the yeah.
Oh, you're looking
But
at conference losses.
LSU's got 3 overall, so they're done. But Missouri, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, all with 2. Texas, A&M's got 2. Tennessee's got 1. Yeah, I mean, it could be total. I think it will be. I mean, did you hear Drinkowitz at the end of the OU game?
Mm-mm.
Which was the most bizarre ending. I mean,
Yeah,
it was a total pillow fight and then a couple of scooping scores, and they were lucky to win. And so Drink gets on there and says, "Hey, baby, blah, 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 blah. Playoff." Yeah, I said playoff right into the camera. And you're like, dude.
Well, this was their closing schedule: South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas. Like they can finish 10-2. Like they can.
They could also
they're very
go
in good position.
They could also
7 and
finish
5.
1 and 2 over
Yeah,
those three. But
agreed.
then in the post-game press conference, he calls out Bob Stoops and talks about how they kicked Oklahoma's ass. And you're just like, dude, that was not an ass kicking. And two, what have you won? If you're going to call out Stoops, man, you better have some resume material.
Yeah. So Missouri's best victory of the year is
Is
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and they're not even ranked now.
Yeah.
Much like
They're six and
Texas's
two.
best victory is Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So they don't have any top 25 wins.
Yeah. I don't know if the. I mean, I don't. I think college football as a whole is down. I don't. There's not an
Oh, yeah.
elite team. We
No.
don't like the teams this year wouldn't have competed with the teams last year. I get that,
Oh,
but
no.
you look at the whole landscape of college football. Like we're going to have a bunch of average teams playing in the playoff.
Which is going to make it, I think, compelling and great theater. But you need somebody to be really good just to be the villain, right?
Yeah. I mean, is that Oregon? I mean, Oregon and I mean, circle it this week is what Indiana, Ohio State's this week. I mean, if
Yeah. No,
Indiana
next
can
week.
finally next
Yeah,
week, okay.
next week.
So if Indiana can win this game somehow, some way, I mean, how great
They're
would that be?
Cinderella.
Yeah.
They just
So we
have
got,
not to, all they have to do is just not get beat down. If they can stay
yeah.
within 15, they'll get to the playoff.
And so we're looking at potentially an Indiana Oregon Big Ten championship game, both of them undefeated. If they beat Ohio State, maybe they move into the top 2 or 3. They're not getting any respect right now.
Oh, if they beat Ohio State, all hell's breaking loose. But
Yeah.
here, okay, well, they've got to beat Ohio State to get the championship, right? I think so.
Yeah, well, I mean, because that would give both Oregon and Ohio State one loss,
Yeah,
but also
but
Penn
then the
State has one
tiebreaker.
loss. I don't know what the
Yeah.
tiebreakers would be because they don't play. Because Indiana's not playing Penn State, Oregon. Ohio State's the only team that they're playing that's worth a
Yeah.
flip.
Well, and Oregon's got the win over Ohio State. So
Right.
Ohio State will probably play. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they have it all figured out. But the tiebreaker that's going to be nuts is the SEC.
Yeah.
And do you want to go to the championship game? Because if you lose it, you're done.
It's a
You're
playoff
almost better off not going.
game. Yeah. So the SEC championship game is and maybe even the Big 12 championship game to a certain extent is a
Yeah.
playoff game because if you win that game, you're in.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be your conference champion. But if you lose and that's a third loss for a team in the SEC or the Big 12, you're done.
You're done. Yeah. Yeah. So it's you have more to lose than you do to gain.
Yes, 100%.
So yeah, it's gonna be.
So
It's
let's paint the picture. Like, say, it's crazy right now. So say it's Georgia and Texas again, and Georgia they're both 10-2, and you're going to tell me the loser of that game is out? You're going to tell me say Texas happens to beat Georgia, and all of a sudden a 10-3 Georgia team is left out of the playoff? ESPN could not handle that.
no, but I think you got to though.
Absolutely, you do, because you've got 4 other 2-loss teams coming out of that conference.
Plus, let's not overestimate the SEC fatigue factor. The rankings tonight will be interesting, but
Yeah.
people hate the SEC, and any reason they can get to exclude an SEC team, and Sankey doesn't help matters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting by far.
It's next week, and they got to buy this week. Army Notre Dame next week is going to have a huge impact on the playoff as well.
If Army can win and knock Notre Dame out, that opens up a spot.
They didn't look very good against North Texas this past week, though. Army,
No,
that is.
No, they did not. They needed Chandler Morse to throw a couple picks to escape. But, I mean, escape and move on.
So here's my question, though, for Notre Dame. Like, so they lose to Northern Illinois way back when. But,
Worst
of course,
loss
they
of the
beat
year.
They beat A&M. They beat Louisville, who was number 15 at the time. They beat a ranked Navy team like a drum. And then they close with Army, who's in the top 25, and then USC, who's awful. But it's still USC in the mind of most voters. That's going to
Yes.
get Notre Dame in the playoff.
Well, and USC, let's face it, is going to be playing for a bowl, eligibility probably when it comes to that game.
Mm-hmm.
And now his name escapes me, their coach.
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln is on the hot seat. They're not going to eat the contract, but I mean, just sheer pride, plus a chance to wreck somebody else's world and end on a high note. So that's
Mm-hmm.
not totally a given that Notre Dame will beat USC. It is college
USC.
football.
Yeah, but we kind of what started this kind of craziness when we were talking about Missouri, Oklahoma
Yeah.
losing that game likely blocks up the fact they're not going to go to a bowl game.
Yeah. First time since
98, 98 or 99.
and you just extended Venables.
Mm-hmm. I forgot his name because it was a cuss word when I was growing up. You got to remember, I was a kid in Oklahoma in the late '90s.
Yeah.
You never mentioned the name John Blake. I mean, that was a cuss word in
Ooh.
every household. This will be the first team in Oklahoma football since John Blake was their coach to not make a bowl game.
Spit take.
Yeah.
Wow. That's going back a ways. And that's not going to sit well.
You see the color of this hair? I'm talking about when I was in high school. So obviously that's a long
Yes.
time ago.
Yes. And that's not going to sit well in the Sooner State.
No.
It's not been a good year in the Sooner State at all
No, it has
for
not.
either Gundy or Venables. So, yeah, it's only going to get more interesting. All right, moving along. Arkansas didn't play, but they did lose because the kicker, who was rated number 1 in the country out of Mississippi, I'm not coming. I'm going to go to Florida. Florida. Oh my gosh. What?
I got
this?
a chart here. Actually, it's not really a chart; it's a number. You know how much commitments mean in today's modern college football?
That would be 0.0. The Blutarski. Yeah.
That is not a GPA. That is exactly what commitments mean to me. I am so tired of high school kids committing and then decommitting and then recommitting and then doing all this. I don't care. Let me know when you get on campus. I am so over, especially football, rankings and recruitings.
Yeah. But it's still not a good look.
No, it's never a good look, but it doesn't matter. Every kid commits and decommits at one point or another. Loyalty does not exist anymore.
Yeah, that's true. They probably came in with a better NIL deal, but it was just I just saw that, and because everybody was like, "Oh, we got a kicker coming in because our kicking game stinks," and now he's going to Florida. So the kicking game still stinks, though. There are kids in state that if they would wake up and offer, could help them, but we'll and not just a kicker either.
Yeah, the Mississippi State starting kickers went to Harding Academy.
Yeah, so there's talent in the state. Hello, Fayetteville. We know you're watching. All right, the NFL. Goodell came out and said we might want to play another international game.
Yeah.
When is enough enough?
It's been enough. It's happened. That day has passed. I mean, especially because you can't pluck a game and move it over there mid-season like you can in the flex games. We're sending them trash. I mean, we're sending them Patriots versus Jaguars, Giants versus Panthers. We're not sending them the top of the top, the cream of the crop. We're sending them garbage football.
Yeah, but still, at some point, if you're a season ticket holder, you're like, well, I'm not getting a discount. I'm not getting a discounted rate because I'm losing a home game.
Yeah, and at some point, honestly, I think it's hurting the NFL more so because the people in Europe are going to go because that's all they get. That's all they have, right? But more people are probably doing what I did Sunday morning, and I can't speak for you, but I'm gonna guess you did the same thing. You didn't even turn it off. You didn't even acknowledge that it was happening.
No, I didn't. I ignored it. So
I literally forgot that game was being played until the Patriots were kicking off at noon, and I saw it go across the bottom line. That game was already over. I'm like, oh, missed that one.
Yeah, that was It's. I think you can overdo it. It's better. It's like the Chick-fil-A theory. They're not open every day of the week. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
little want. Now they're trying to do too much. They're just solely chasing the money.
Yeah, of
Just
course.
like if they wanted to fix the officiating, they can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to spend the money. They'd
Yeah,
rather
eye
make
in the
money.
sky. Yeah,
So
I agree.
crazy. Well,
Recruiting
speaking of the
means
NFL,
this to me.
let's get to the recap of the NFL. Get that graphic off. Bengals Ravens, probably the best game of the week. It was on
Awesome.
Thursday, and
Yeah,
if you didn't have Amazon Prime, you didn't see it.
yeah.
But
I mean, Cincinnati did what I was claiming for the Patriots to do. There was another game last week that they should have gone for two and didn't, and lost in overtime. But the Bengals go for two and they lose in regulation. So,
yeah,
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Great
yeah,
game though.
yeah. I mean, it set a high bar, and the
Is
bar.
Cincinnati done?
I don't know. I think they can.
They're four and
I think they've
six.
got one life. They've got one life left.
They're
But
4 and 6 and currently sitting in ninth, tied for eighth, if you will, in the playoff hunt. Obviously, top seven make it. They're only a game out in the playoff race. 5-5 Denver is currently sitting in that last playoff spot. So
yeah,
mathematically, they're obviously right in the middle of it. But
yeah, they have no
I don't
margin
know.
for error.
They
No
don't.
margin.
You're right.
No margin for error. We were right. We took the Broncos. Chiefs needed a blocked field goal.
Miracle. Well, we texted
They,
about this on Sunday.
yeah, they
It's
just
so
find
frustrating.
ways.
It's just frustrating as a non-Chiefs fan. And again, this is probably how Patriots fan or anti-Patriot fans felt for 20 years. You just win
Yeah,
games that you're not supposed to. Like there's no reason they should have won that game.
no, but Dave Tobe is a very good special teams coordinator. Spags is the best at defense. The offense
Yeah,
has been the weak spot of the team,
yeah.
and then but Pacheco is supposedly coming back off IR. We'll see.
Yeah.
They're not going to go undefeated. I mean, I
No,
just
they're playing with fire too much.
they're playing with fire too much, and there's just the margin is too thin. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. The day is coming. This is the Germany. Here you go. Have at it. Oh, the Giants are back.
It
They've
kind of
got to
seems
move
like we
on.
did pretty good last week, Blair. We're
Yeah, we
three for
did.
three now.
Yeah. I forgot to update the pick totals, or I'd put that graphic up. But yeah, I mean, the Giants are bad. Bad,
Yeah,
bad, bad.
they're bad.
Hey, your Patriots.
Bears are a real bad team. They've got no offensive line. Fired their offensive coordinator today.
Yeah.
9 sacks for the Patriots. But I told you the stretch was coming, Blair. They've got
Mm-hmm.
this window. But New England's got a chance to win some games. Should have won
Yes.
last week. Lose a game in overtime. The Patriots have lost 2 out of 3 now. They've got an upcoming stretch that's pretty soft. I hate to point it out. They're 3-7. They're only 2 games out of the playoff spot. And they've got the Rams, Dolphins, Colts, and Cardinals coming up next. Cardinals are actually looking pretty good, though.
Yeah, of the three. And Drake May's not playing bad. He's
No.
It probably helped to have him sit and watch a few
Mm-hmm.
weeks. Why more teams don't do that? We're seeing
Yeah.
it with Caleb Williams. I mean,
Agreed.
throw him out there and
Yeah. The
wonderful.
Bears look lost, though.
Oh, they are lost. I mean, it's just bad. But they're the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
The Flacco, good luck. Gravy train
First play.
runs out.
First play of the game, pick six. That's not how you draw it up.
No. So, but are the Bills overrated? I mean, I don't know if we know how good they
Yeah.
are.
And this is coming from somebody who said that they were going to lose a bunch of games, maybe double-digit games, and so I'm eating crow on Buffalo. To
Yeah.
me, they're the biggest contender to Kansas City in the AFC.
Oh yeah, and guess who they host this week?
Oh, funny how that works.
Yeah, funny how the schedulers figure it out. But the Bills are playing well. So
Mhm.
Mac Jones played pretty well. So my thought was, and I was shocked because the Vikings defense was not very good. The offense wasn't either.
Yeah.
They did win, but is Mac Jones not that bad as he was in New England? Because he had a couple good years. Or
Yeah, I
is
mean,
Trevor Lawrence not that good and we don't want to admit that?
I think this was more of a case of Sam Darnold's not that good. I mean, he threw 3 picks for Minnesota. I mean, he
Yeah.
kept Jacksonville in the game. Mac Jones, 14 of 22 for 111 yards, but he got sacked 3 times, threw 2 picks. I think he lost a fumble. Yep. So still had 3 turnovers. Mac Jones is scared in the pocket. That's who he is.
Yeah.
This was more of an indication that Minnesota's fallen back down to earth than it was that Mac Jones or Jacksonville's competent.
Yeah. Well, the fact that the Vikings even gave up a touchdown was kind of scary.
Because now Minnesota is. I know they're 7-2, but they dropped a couple in a row. Probably should have lost this one if they play a decent team. They're going the wrong direction.
That's true. They had an off week. Now this was surprising. The Saints not only got points, but won. But then it's like, okay, the Falcons probably are who we always thought they were, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a divisional game. Didn't play well. Obviously, New Orleans maybe has a little sense of, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. They fire their coach, playing for each other kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Falcons are going to Falcon.
Yeah.
They're just this was a pretty good ball game. The Buccaneers, give Baker Mayfield credit. He's got a tight end and nobody else, and they were in the game.
They're making every game close and interesting, but because they don't have the playmakers, they're losing them. If Godwin or Evans are out there, they win this game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield is just continuing. Yeah, Baker Mayfield is just continuing to impress you every week.
Yeah, and Cleveland, you should miss him. Steelers. Russell Wilson, I gotta admit, he looks good. He's got the moon ball back. He's got the right receivers. But also, how much of this is the fact he's playing with the lead, which he rarely did at the end in Seattle and in Denver.
Yeah, but this week's totally different. Yeah, they're down 13 points. They're down 27-14.
Yeah,
he comes back and makes a play. I tell you, the trade that they made for Mike Williams with the Jets, big. So now they've got another weapon. I said it last week, and you go back and run the tape. I think this game was going to tell me more about the Commanders than Pittsburgh. Yeah. I left this game thinking that both of them are legitimate playoff teams. Oh, yeah. I was really impressed with the way both of these teams handled it.
You do not want to see either of these teams in the playoffs. The Titans, they stink. We knew that.
They're bad.
The Jets are really bad. Really bad.
Oh, man. Arizona is impressing me each and every week. Kyler Murray is playing like an MVP, even though Call of Duty has already come out, which is crazy. But, for him to go out there and just carve up the Jets' defense, which is supposed to be, everybody told us they were going to be really good. But Aaron Rodgers needs to retire now. Just don't finish the season.
Yeah, he is bad. Bad. Also, the Cowboys. Okay, and now Dak is out for the year.
Yeah.
That trade looks looks ridiculous. Yeah. It's.
Bye, Jerry. Go buy some curtains for your stadium.
Yeah, and then this was a great game. Bates with 2 bombs of field goals that hugged the upright.
Yeah. Man,
the Lions got some mojo going.
So, yes, they do. Great game. We miss it by the hook. So, here's my question, and we can wrap it up with this. I don't know about the Monday night game. Nobody cares about Miami and the Rams.
Yeah, it was bad.
Who has the right claim to Jake Bates to say that, so-and-so alum? Started at UCA as a soccer player, but then transfers to Arkansas as a kickoff specialist. And within seconds of each other, I saw athletic department members from Arkansas and UCA say former so-and-so Bear, Razorback, Jake Bates for the game winner. Who has the proper claim? You get the final word.
Ooh. Everybody. It's the portal age. Everybody gets if he paid tuition everybody gets everybody.